Raja uvacha न जानामि महाभाग परम कर्मा पविद्धधिः ब्रूहि मे विमलं ज्ञानं जेन मुच्येय कर्मभिः. This Hare Krishna. The king replied, O great soul Narada, my intelligence is entangled in fruitive activities. Therefore, I do not know the ultimate goal of life. Kindly instruct me in pure knowledge so that I can get out of the entanglement of fruitive activities. Purport. Sri Narottam Das Thakur has sung सत्संग छाडी कैनो असते विलास ते कारणे लागिल जे कर्म बंध फास सत्संग छाडी कैनो असते विलास ते कारणे लागिल जे कर्म बंध फास. As long as a person is entangled in fruitive activities, he is bound to accept one body after another. This is called karma bandha phasa, entanglement in the fruitive activities. It doesn't matter whether one is engaged in pious or impious activities, for both are causes for further entanglement in material bodies. By pious activities, one can take birth in a rich family and get a good education and a beautiful body. But this does not mean that the distresses of life are automatically eliminated. In the Western countries, it is not unusual for one to take birth in a rich aristocratic family, nor is it unusual for one to have a good education and a very beautiful body. But this doesn't mean that Westerners are free from the distresses of life. Although at present moment, the younger generation in Western countries has sufficient education, beauty, and wealth, and although there is enough food, clothing, and facilities for sense gratifications, they are in distress. Indeed, they are also distressed that they become hippies, and the laws of nature force them to accept a raised life. Thus, they go about unclean and without shelter or food, and they are forced to sleep in the street. It can be concluded that one cannot become happy by simply performing pious activities. It is not a fact that who are born with a silver spoon in their mouth are free from the material miseries of birth, old age, diseases, and death. The conclusion is that one cannot be happy by simply executing pious or impious activities. Such activities simply cause entanglement and transmigrations from one body to another. Narottam Das Thakur calls this is karma bandha phasa. King Prachinabarhisat admitted his fact and frankly asked Narada Muni how he could get out of this karma bandha phasa, the entanglement in cultive activities. This is actually the stage of knowledge indicated in the first verse of Vedanta Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. When one actually reaches the platform of frustrations in an attempt to discharge karma bandha phasa, he inquires about the real value of life, which is called Brahma Jigyasa. In order to inquire about the ultimate goal of life, the Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 11.2.12, enjoin Tad Vigyanartham Sagurum Eva Abhigachet. In order to understand The transcendental science one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. King Prachinabarhisat found the best spiritual master, Narada Muni, and he therefore asked him about th- that knowledge by which one can get out of the entanglement of karma, bandha, phasa, or fruitive activities. This is the actual business of human life. जीवस्य तत्व जिज्ञासा ना अर्थ जस्य चेय कर्म भी. As stated in the second chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.2.10, a human being's only business is inquiring from a bona fide spiritual master about extrication from the entanglement of karma bandha phasa. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamaham Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapadakamalaam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanitam Sa. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate गोपीश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिस्वरूप दामोदर स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने. जय श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की. So here King Prachinabarhisat inquiring Narada Muni that what are the mean to get freed from the entanglement of fruitive activities. He expressed his heart that, O great soul Narada Muni, Gurudev, my intelligence is entangled in fruitive activities. Therefore, we cannot know the ultimate goal of life when our intelligence is entangled in fruitive activities. So we need the divine knowledge, pure knowledge that can help us to come out of entanglement of fruitive activities. So what is to be understood here? That fruitive fruitive activities fruitive activities is called avidya. When we want to enjoy something by performing some activities, pious activities or religious activities, what is the intention behind that is to enjoy, and that is called lust or kama. So here in this sloka, Prabhupada explained very nicely that this life's desire should not be go here and there. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The whole purpose of this human form of life is that it will inquire about the absolute truth. Adhata Brahma jigyasa. Bhagavatam says same thing that kamasya na indriya pritir. When we are entrapped or entangled into lusty desire or kama, kamasya, na indriya pritir. These senses are not meant to enjoy, but there is a something which is beyond sense enjoyment, which give the pleasure. Because living entity is entitled to get only pleasure from sense enjoyment when it is entrap of avidya. Has to be understood. There is a problem in that. When we caged, where our intelligence is caged into this entrap of avidya, we cannot see beyond. So then how we can understand? So we can understand when we want to understand. The starting point of inquiry. When one inquires, when one start inquire, can animal being inquire? No, because their consciousness is too down to inquire. Their consciousness is animal beings are called shrunken consciousness. We every time we repeat this, that consciousness are having various degree. Covered, shrunken, budding, then blossom to fully blossom. There are 5 degrees of consciousness. Human beings are entitled or empowered to inquire about the absolute truth or to know the truth behind anything. Sat Chit Ananda. Chit means is the knowledge. Sat means eternity or the truth. The eternity, eternal existence of living entity, and pleasure is Ananda. These are the basic principles. The principles from which a living entity is existing. The existence of living entity is covered by avidya, then that consciousness is called contaminated consciousness, where chit is not reflected. Ananda, chit takes shelter of avidya. Chit means vidya. But chit perverted when it is inflicted by maya, the attraction of maya, it takes a different reflection or perverted. Khiram dadi bikar jata. Just like milk is transformed to curd by touch of some sour element. Similarly, when vidya is covered through avidya, the attractions of maya, then it is translated to avidya, where sense gratification is primary. Happiness, which is supposed to come by giving pleasure, by giving enjoyment to Krishna, that is the true Ananda. The real Ananda is that we give enjoyment to Krishna. That is love or prema or bhakti. It's indirect pleasure. But when one enter into avidya, when one create identity crisis in him or identity mismatch in him, he takes a false positions to become lord over material nature, being attracted to Maya Shakti. He takes the false position to become the owner and enjoy by becoming owner of something, some property, some children, some wife, whatever way. And his complete involvement in avidya do not allow him to realize vidya. Who is fully, whose consciousness fully trapped in avidya had no scope to inquire about vidya. They are covered consciousness and shrunken consciousness. Who have a scope, they are called a budding consciousness. This budding consciousness. Covered means completely covered. Shrunken means little bit open, but not budding. Budding means it has started. So human being consciousness is budding consciousness. The first class devotee who are performing sadhana bhakti, regulative principles, who have tapasya and who have regulated devotional service and who are developed, who have developed love for Krishna, who are engaged in devotional service. So their consciousness is blossomed, just opening, slowly, slowly opening. And who is pure devotee is fully blossomed. So then there is no scope who are covered or sunken. Animal being or plants, they cannot, bird, beast, they cannot inquire about the absolute truth. Even though they are suffering, they cannot inquire or find a way out of it. Whereas a human being, especially, has the opportunity to inquire and find a way out of it. So, what is that inquiry? Bhagavad Gita says that Utkramantam stitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanitam vimudhananu pasyanti jnana chakshusa. Those who have the eyes of knowledge, they, while enjoying or suffering the material world, come to certain level of understanding that what I was looking, I am not getting. What I was thinking that by getting this, I will become happy. I got that, I have not become happy. Suppose you are studying so hard to get a job. In student life, you studied very hard. क्रम में दिन दिन बालक হইয়া খেলিনু বালক আর কিছু দিন জ্ঞান উপজিল পাঠ পড়ি অহরহ বিদ্যার বিলাসে ভ্রমি দেশে দেশে ধন উপার্জন করি স্বজন পালন করি এক মনে ভুলিনু তোমারে হরি বার্ধক্য এখন ভকতি বিনোদ কান্দিয়া কতরতি. This is the stage. All that you wanted, that you will get a good job, then you will earn sufficient money, is for that reason you worked so hard in study and you have got it. You wanted a job, you got a job. You wanted to earn money, you also got money. You wanted a house, you also got a house. You wanted a wife, you got a wife. You wanted children, you also got children. Why you wanted everything? Because you want to be happy. Have you got that? That is the inquiry. That is the starting point of inquiry. What is said in scripture that satiation, the point of satiations. Satiation is not understood by materially motivated people who are fully in avidya, materially motivated. They cannot get this point of satiations. They are so bound in karma bandha fast until one get a realization by seeing another person who is not entangled. Until you have a respect, love, affection for a person who is not entangled and enjoying this pleasure of devotion, not being entangled in avidya. When you see a person सतसंग छाडी कैनु असते vilas, because all the people around him are involved in asat avidya, in the sense enjoyment, nothing other than getting objects, money, wealth, intoxication, wine, and internet, world wide web, wine, women, and wealth. Sutam The Ramani Chinta Avirata. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that famous sloka Bhagavad Gita. What is that said? That sloka says that Dhayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangaste Supajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodha Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Samoha Samhat Buddhinasat Pranasyati. So, what is the beginning point? Dhyayato Vishayan. That is the beginning point. So, what we should think about? Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah raso varja raso api paradrushta nivartante. Same Bhagavatam says that Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah. Rasovarjo raso api paradrushta nivartante. When we give up thinking of this avidya or visaya sukha, visaya means anything we want to get from material object. Any sukha we want to get from material object are called visaya sukha. And visaya sukha can never give us happiness. Why? Because visaya meant to give us false identity. In false identity, we cannot get truth. The ananda which is coming from sat and chit cannot be achieved in misidentifications. When our identification is that sabahi pumsa paro dharma yator bhakti adhokyaje, and we are missing that identity, we diverted ourselves to Visaya. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanu anuvidhayate tadasya harati pragyam vayurunabam ivambasi. Even a knowledgeous person who is trying to understand through the process of Adhata Brahma Jigyansa sometimes can get diverted because Maya Shakti is so strong. The strong desire of mind, like a wind, sweeps away a boat on water. Even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away man's intelligence. That means intelligence is supported by identifications. Identification gives the knowledge, true knowledge or vidya. So from identification or parichaya, you can say ahankara. When it is in material world, when a living entity in conditioned state, it is ahankara. When living entity enters by the association of sadhu sangha, by the imparting of devotional knowledge from Sri Guru, when it enters to the real identity, then it is unconditioned. And true pleasure comes only when it remains unconditioned. Conditional state is a covered state. Nastir buddhi ajuktasya nachajuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayatah santi asantasya kutah sukham. So until it reaches this point of understanding that sabahi pumsa paru dharma yato bhaktir adhukyaji, the bounded duty of every living entity is to please Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is vidya, which is prema, which is not kama, but we entrapped in a desire to get pleasure only through sense enjoyment. It is a false mean. That's why we are entrapped into karma bandha phasa. Prasada sarva dukkhanam hanirasya upajayate. Until we get this happiness from Krishna, from the mercy of Krishna, then we cannot get this happiness. But happiness we want to get is either through raga or through dvesa. Our mind, due to false identifications with Maya, Vishayan Indriyas Charan, Atma Basair Vidhyatma Prasadam Adhigachati. We have to give up this raga dvesa mentality. Sometimes we are attracted to something because of it suits to our senses, and some other things we dislike because it doesn't suit to our senses. But doite bhalo manda ubhoy dvandva, give up this mentality of good and bad. Everything has to be engaged in the service of Krishna. So this point is that Visaya, the subject matter or objects of sense gratification, is our full involvement. We cannot artificially come out of that. So we need to first know that we are in problem. We are in encaged state, karma bandha phasa. That itself is not possible. It is never possible for animals and plants because they are in covered and sunken state. But it is possible for human being. Even being human being at a budding state, we have all the scopes to inquire. Still, we don't come to this point of satisfaction because our bad associates. All around, everybody is involved in such sense gratification, economic development. Prabhupada said that Krishna consciousness means your holistic regulative principles. You have to be bounded with regulative principles. Krishi, Garaksha, Vanijya. These are certain things given by Vedic literatures, whether you do Krishi or Goraksha or Vanijya or business. All should mean to be engaged in Krishna consciousness activity. Krishna ra sansara koro, chadiyo nachar, jive daya, Krishna nam, sarva dharma sar. So essence of everything is that Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijya, all has to be engaged in Krishna ra sansara. তোমারো কার্যর তরে উপার্জিব ধন তোমার সংসার ব্যয় করিব বহন. When we'll come to this consciousness, we are thinking that we are earning and we'll enjoy, claim and blame. When anything good happens that I have done and anything bad happens, it is Krishna who had given me bad fate. We are in this mode, but we have to come to a higher mode where we know that everything belonging to Krishna. So I, being a part and parcel of Krishna, has been given a responsibility of maintaining this samsara as a bounded duty to please Krishna. The samsara belongs to Krishna, and I can earn money for Krishna's pleasure. Tumara karjyara tare uparjivadhan means he has no other activity but any activity he do to please Krishna. So this is the state. So when we go to that famous sloka again, Visaya binivartante nira harasya dehina rasavarja rasopi paradushta nivartante. So Visaya binivartante, giving up subject matter, what to give up and what to accept, that we have to know. Dhyayate vishayan pumsaha. So we always, because we are conscious being, we are entitled to think something, and our thought is based on our identity. When you give up your identity, like a mad person, he has no proper knowledge or no proper understanding of his identifications. That's why his state is insane, and you know what insane state is. So almost that person is insane, but all other persons are also somewhere or other insane. Pisachi paile jena batul hayaman. Just like a maddened person or a pisachi. Pisachi means in village you can see, they say that this person is attracted by ghost, pisachi. So his behavior is different like that. So a person is not behaving it with or as per his own identity. He's behaving like somebody else. Some bad spirit entered inside that person. Similarly, when we don't act being a part and parcel of Krishna, then we are like that. Our state is like that. So then how to resolve that state? Dhyata Vishayan Pumsa. We are conscious being. We have to meditate. Then what to meditate? You cannot remain a single moment without meditating on anything. You have to think something. You have to desire something. But you are desiring Visaya. Because your identity is that I am of this body. The senses belonging to me. I do lots of activities and I gain lots of earning and I will enjoy it. It is only who I could do it. And where is the role of Prakriti? Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karma sarvas ahankara bimadatma kartaham iti manyate. Prakriti kriyamani. Prakriti is karta or I myself is karta. What is the role of Krishna? It is not understood. But when one come to Krishna consciousness, this dhyayat visaya changed, manmana. All this entire knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is given at the end. Krishna says about manmana mad bhakta madjaji mam namaskaru. This is the basic 4 steps. Manmana bhava mad bhakta madjaji mam namaskaru. Basic 4 steps of Krishna consciousness. Here your dhyayat visaya will change dhyayat Krishna bhakti. Krishna Nama Rupa Guna Lila. These are the subject of Chintana or meditations. When? How can you do that? When you know that you are part and parcel of Krishna. When you are established in Sambandha Vijnana. So how to be established in Sambandha Vijnana? When you inquire. After your inquiry reaches the right person who give you the right knowledge. Sadhu, Shastra, Atma. Sadhu, Shastra, Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, Atma Rupe, Karana, Anushilana. These 4 energy of Krishna are ready to take you from the state of Athata Brahma Jigyasa to the state of Manmana. But you need to take their guidance, Anushilana. So this state, Dhyato Visaya, will always pull you. Sangaste Supajas, attachment to enjoy it. Then Sangat Sanjayat Kama, Kamat Krodha Vijayate, Krodhad Bhavati, Sammoha. From Krodha, there will be deep attachment, Samhat, Smruti Brahma. This intelligence which was giving us the guidance to serve Krishna will give the direction to enjoy the senses. And with that mentality, our real Vidya entirely destroyed, Buddhinasat Pranasyati. So how one is entrapped into the attachment of Maya Shakti? Because day and night, Guru Goswami Maharaj sing that song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Diba Nisi Chinta Avirata. Day and night, is always engaged in this thought. Sutta Mita Ramanira Chinta Avirata. What is that thought? Sutta. Sutta means son or daughter. Mita means friends and relatives. Sutta Mita Ramani. Ramani means wife, girlfriend, all these things. Women, wine, and wealth. So, entrapped with this Visaya and involved in this thought, then what is this Sankalpa? Kama Sankalpa. Ja Sarva Samarambhan Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha. Until you give up this Sankalpa. Sankalpa is the primary Shakti. What is there within your consciousness? What is that you desire? What is the intention behind your activities is Sankalpa. Even you don't do the activities, Sankalpa Shakti is there, then you will get dream. Sankalpa is the things, it can give you the enjoyment in this body, or in subtle body. Like just like you get dream, bad dreams comes, good dreams comes. That is all because of sankalpa. And sankalpa come from what? From your thought, your involvement in the subject matters. Can this sankalpa go to utsaha, nisaya, dharja, viswasa? Utsaha, nisaya, dharja, visaya, Krishna karmarpane, Krishna chintane, Krishna sevane. When we transform ourselves to this state, then there is a possibility that we develop and free our intelligence from the fruitive activities or the desire of sense enjoyment. Otherwise, there is no way. Then, Hare Krishna. Yes, yes. Mm, mm. So, yeah, I'm just about to concluding. What I was telling that yeah, we'll miss the goal of life and we take a pseudo goals in our life. Kaitava dharma, dharma prajita kaitava. So that way, if you want to enter into the state of nirmasaranam satam, the state of pure devotional service, then you have to take shelter of a great soul like Pracinabarhisat took shelter of Narada Muni, inquired him, and followed the instructions of Narada Muni as it is. So at least we have to inquire and ask him, kindly instruct me. Must ask Sri Guru, kindly instruct me the pure divine knowledge so that I should be able to come out of entanglement of such a desire of enjoying senses. Hare Krishna. Any questions?